Super Dave here with another Super Dave review. Super Dave here with another exciting Masters of the Universe Vintage Collection review. That's right, we have a Vintage Collection Stratos in the house, and he is looking really promising. I was not a huge fan. I mean, I liked him, the new Eternia Stratos, but I wasn't a huge fan. I don't know. There was just something about him that felt out of place when I put him alongside the other figures. So I'm hopeful in some of the pictures I've seen of this dude that he's going to fit in a little better. So let's take him out of the box and check him out. You can go and look at this packaging right quick, though, of course. Look at that beautiful artwork on the back, looking cool as he soars in to Avion. Just awesome. In flight, you can see there that it highlights the fact that you can have the two different incarnations of him, the red wings or the blue wings, or the blue backpack or the red backpack, interchangeable. So that's cool. Really neat. There's a little write-up on him there, very short. So let's go ahead and break him out of this really cool looking red rocks lightning vintage collection style box that says Masterverse on the top, and check him out over here on Eternia. And here we are on Eternia, getting ready to take a look at Stratos. Let's first take a look at his accessories. And first of all, our Stratos comes with two sets of hands. He has a set of open palm hands, flying hands, and a set of weapon holding hands. They are horizontally hinged all. And he also comes with two sets of wings. He has these red wings. You can see there's a wash on the upper portion, but not on the lower portion. And I found that to be true on both sides and both sets, because he also comes with a set of blue wings. And you see it's a little brighter blue at the top, and there's a wash on the bottom. Or actually, that this is actually when he's wearing it, this is the top and this is the bottom. But you can also see he comes with two jetpacks. He comes with a red one, and he comes equipped with a blue one. So you can have both incarnations of vintage Stratos, because we've seen it both ways, and so he has it both ways as an option. The one thing that I do really wish we had here, and it's my biggest complaint so far, and that is a second head sculpt. Now, I know this is how we are normally used to seeing Stratos overall, with this kind of look. But as I've said before, I've complained about this before, when you get pictures like with a yelling action pose type on the box, I mean, even as an adult, and I know kids do, they want to recreate it. And if you have this guy flying around shooting, he's not going to be able to look mad because he's just got a stoic looking face. So yeah, I would have loved it for them to have given us a second head sculpt. That would have been perfect, especially since we didn't get any of his staffs like we're used to, which I know we got some of those in with the new Eternia one, and we'll do some comparisons here in a few moments. But yes, I am pleased with how this Stratos looks. I still say that he could have used a little bit of a wash, and I may do that, may get a second one and do that, especially if I find one in the stores. But right now, I like the way he's looking, and we'll take a look at all the comparisons here in just a moment. But now, let's take a look at him with the other colors on as we look at his articulation. And here we are looking at his articulation, and this is a nice looking action figure. Now I will say I personally think I like the red wings and the blue chest harness and blue power pack or jet pack better. There's like a metallic blue on this jet pack, and I don't know, I just like the other way instead of the red being so close to his helmet. I think I like it the other way, having the blue chest armor contrast with the helmet and the red wings. That's just me, but I just wanted to give you a gander of how it looks with the opposite. Now, as you see, you just pop these two little places off and pull it over his head, and you can do it with his head on, or you can pop that off. This is a little difficult. You have to take the hands off and take the wrist off there, and then work this bicep piece off. It's pretty tight to go over the bicep, but it will go off. If you have a hard time or you don't have any fingernails, I have a little bit of fingernail grown happened to this day, and I was able to kind of work it with my fingernail off of that bicep. But if you don't have fingernails, you might need to heat this up with a hair dryer, and then it'll slide right off. Same way with putting it back on. But actually had a hard time taking them off than I did putting them on. I was able to pretty much pop it on easier than taking off the other set. But yeah, it's really nice. And as you can see, I changed the hands, so you have the different hands here, but that's pretty much it. I mean, you pretty much know how to do it. Obviously you have to put this band on first, and then this just goes right there over the wrist, and you're good to go. He's going to look up about that much, not a huge amount, but a little bit. He's going to look down all the way. His chin does touch his chest. Let's see. Yeah, MOTU does it again. You would think that with this design, they have so much to work with, and the way they do their ball joints, it would not take much tweaking at all. And we know this because of other action figures that we have, and it's not because they're expensive. I mean, we're talking about some of the Jada toys that are like cheaper than this, that have really good head swivel, or I should say pivot, to be able to do some expressions. But here again, some MOTUs have it, some of the Masterverse have it, but here again we have very little to no pivot, so no expression ability there. So that's just unfortunate. You should be able to do that. But anyway, I love the head sculpt. I think I like it better than the new Eternia one for some reason, and we'll look at that in a little bit. All right, he will crunch forward a good amount, so he's looking down even further. He will bend back a little bit, so you're going to be able to get a little bit more looking back, looking up. He does have that nice fluid ball joint, or I should say tripod type ability there. Then he will tilt side to side. It's kind of tight, and this does kind of hinder it a little bit, but it's still there. You can kind of stretch it, as you see. But yeah, you can do side to side. And then of course his waist, and boy, that even moved his, that's odd. Must have been stuck with a little glue, but it went back in place there. The belt actually moved before the waist did. Is weird, but apparently because, as you see, it's kind of worked up under there, it must have been stuck with a little bit of glue, but it's loose now. But yeah, turns at the waist. Now the arms, you do get full 360. You're still going to be able to get the full T-pose there. You do have bicep swivel, double jointed. Ooh, it's really tight. You do have double jointed elbows, as you can see, and mine was frozen right here, and it took a lot of hair dryer to get this side to break. Now the other side went right away, opened up right away, but this side, wow, I've never had to use so much heat to get a double joint to bend. But that was just, you know, kind of like here we had a little glue, and apparently there was a little glue stuck in that hinge, but now we get it full range but you have a swivel and horizontal hinge and see, it's still soft from where I heated it up, but you have a swivel and a hinge at the wrist, and that goes for the weapon holding ones too. They're just horizontally hinged all right, so you get plenty of range with the arms. Once you get that done, you do have that drop down method, as you can see there. Then that will allow you to kick up really good amount. You can slide that back in. You have your thigh swivel there. You also have double jointed knees, which allows you to kick to his lower back there. This is, again, I've complained about this before, we really don't need boot cut when there's no boot. It just kind of breaks up everything and doesn't look right. They've done an okay job trying to hide it, but we just don't need it. Not when we have thigh swivel. That's just my opinion. I like having it if there's a boot to hide it, but when there's not a boot, I'd say get rid of it. That's just me. Go all the way tiptoes. Go all the way up. You have excellent rockers and the peg hole in the bottom. And as you can tell, this time we get kind of like a shoe wrap on that foot instead of claws like we got with the new Eternia one, which we'll look at that here in just a second. As we get ready to do comparisons. Okay, now here we have our Masters of the Universe Classics Style Vintage Collection, and we have our Masterverse New Eternia Stratos. Now, what I want you to notice, and you have to look really carefully at some of these things, is look how much broader his shoulders and his chest and his traps are. Even his lats, his neck muscles are definitely raised up higher. Here he has that smaller chest. The shoulders are okay, but it just looks funny with that small little narrow chest like a bird chest versus this chest like boom. And this goes along with what we've seen throughout the vintage collection so far, is that big bulky chest, and I like it. Even the more defined abs, which look more like a six-pack, which you can't see there. He's got a six-pack here. It's more like a four-pack with the other up in there. But of course he has the little feathers around his neck here. Over here, I do like the loincloth better because it's actually feathers, but that goes along more with your new Eternia look, the new flair that they give the characters. Whereas it's obvious that with, vintage collection, they're going to just give them the regular classics style loincloth and belt that was the same for everybody back in the 80s. Now we got the flat feet that was just kind of like a moccasin almost type foot instead of your furry claws that we have over here on the new Eternia. So of course I think this is more, aesthetically pleasing with the figure at large. So there's just some things I like about this guy, and there's some things I like about this guy. But overall, I'd give this guy the win. Maybe it's nostalgia, but this is the feathers, like the system going around the arm. Totally different than what they did with New Eternia. And so I'm glad, because I like the blue and the red, for that matter, better on this guy. Now, over here, I do like the loincloth better because it's actually feathers, but that goes along more with your new Eternia look, the new flair that they give the characters. Whereas it's obvious that with, vintage collection, they're going to just give them the regular classics style loincloth and belt that was the same for everybody back in the 80s. Now we got the flat feet that was just kind of like a moccasin almost type foot instead of your furry claws that we have over here on the new Eternia. So of course I think this is more, aesthetically pleasing with the figure at large. So there's just some things I like about this guy, and there's some things I like about this guy. But overall, I'd give this guy the win. Maybe it's nostalgia, but this is Stratos' head. This is not as much. Now with this, I like what they did in New Eternia, where they kind of combined the Egg of Avion staff with the Avion. I don't remember what they called that staff that had the little 3 points. It's almost like a pitchfork, but it wasn't a pitchfork. There were some powers to it, but they kind of combined the two and they made it little. They made it short, which that's okay. But man, it would have been nice if they had given one or the other full size to this dude, but they didn't. And that's fine. Almost would have rather them do that instead of giving us the two colors, but I know a lot of you would disagree with that. And I'm going to do the same thing. We're trying to get me a second one, put a little black wash on him, and have him showcased in both colors, because this is a fabulous character. If I had to pick, if I could only get one of them, I would pick getting this one over this one, but I'm glad to have both in the collection. And I was also going to mention to you that you can mix and match the backpacks. They do come off, even the chest armor. And so you see I have the blue one now on the red, and over here on the new Eternia I even have the vintage collection red one on the blue backpack. So you can mix and match any of this stuff. You could put red with red, blue with blue, however you want to do it. Really, there's no limits on that, but that looks cool. Okay, now I switch the red for the blue back, put the red back on his arm instead of the blue, and then I put the blue back on his harness here. And I will tell you that the chest armor and even the rubber that it's made of, or plastic, is a higher quality, just feels better, like even the buckling system, than what we got with the new Eternia one. For some reason, this plastic's kind of cheap feeling and kind of stiff compared to the plastic on the and just the whole build of this character feels more solid than this one. And I don't feel that way about like Fisto or Mechanic or even Ram Man. And there's Buzz Off back there. I mean, these are quality figures, but for some reason this new Eternia Stratos, for me now, just didn't come together as nicely. It just don't feel right, and it's not been one of my favorite figures, and I'm not meaning to harp on this more, but the only thing that I really like about this character is his loincloth. If I could put that over here, I think I would, and I'm sure you probably can in some way, but I'm not going to worry about doing that. I'm not going to swap a lot of their stuff because I just don't like a lot of the stuff over here. I like everything he's coming with, especially the head. I mean, everything just looks very cohesive, looks very good. This looks like Stratos. The only thing other than the loincloth that I might change if I wanted the perfect Stratos on this body is maybe swap the feet. And there may be a way to do that, and I'm sure there is, maybe by even popping off the boot cut feature. These might actually be interchangeable and you could just swap these over there. May try that if I get a second one and just see how it works. But anyway, there you go. Let's look at our new Stratos compared to our classics Stratos. Now you can see instantly here that our new, well, I should say vintage collection, but he's new, Masterverse Stratos is more patterned after the classics. Now this is the one that came with the DC pack. I think he may have come like with Green Lantern or somebody, I'm not sure, or Hawkman, I forget. But anyway, the 2-pack, because they had the variant of the colors, because the original Stratos, which I don't have, had the red and the blue. You know, again, this one has both, so you have both incarnations. But always love this Stratos. This is my definitive Stratos in our classics collection. You see, it has that big chest, broad shoulders, kind of the dark look, and I like that. I think they should have done that here. I do like the bright red helmet though, but I do feel like they could have put a wash on his chest and arms and legs, and I think I'll do that like I've said. But yeah, looks really good next to this one. And then the new Eternia one, I really believe, was trying to strike a balance between him and your comic book Stratos. Because in the original comics, mini comics, this was your Stratos. He had almost like a flesh tone of fur with the blue feathers the loincloth, the little fanny pack thing. I don't know about the oxygen mask. I think that was just a new Eternia thing. But the feathers around the neck, as you see. Because see, he didn't have that really here, just kind of a little bit on the armor. But here you have the full-blown, feathers. And that's what you had with your new Eternia. So, they was trying to strike a balance, I think, and kind of combine. New Eternia was the gray Stratos and the flesh tone Stratos with the feathers and the fanny pack thing. And then, of course, see, you have the beast feet type thing going on too, like we saw in New Eternia. So, yeah, really cool. I love this character. I wish kind of, if they were going to continue the line, which I hope they will with Masterverse, if it goes deep enough, it would be neat for the vintage collection, even if it's one of the, online exclusive, like with the Mattel Creations Club Grayskull. It would be awesome to get a flesh tone Stratos to go along with our collection. Hope we also get the sister too. That would be awesome. But yeah, there you have the comparisons. Just show you very quickly here the difference between the backpacks. And like I said, I put the blue back on here. Now this backpack is not going to be interchangeable because this one doesn't really come off. But yeah, the Classics has a little bit more detail on that backpack, but this backpack looks good too. A little jetpack. Loincloth comes a little bit further. And just look how much, I'll say this before we move on to some more comparisons. Just look how big this Stratos is compared to the Classics. I mean, he dwarfs him. So much taller. He's a head taller than he is. Just bigger in every dimension. Alright? Now, those of you who know me and have followed my channel know that I have made this chick from Fortnite, this really cool girl, the daughter of Stratos. When I saw her in the store, I was like, that looks like that would be Stratos' daughter. Because if you remember, Stratos married I think it was like an Indian type Eternian, a humanoid. I mean, she was not from Avion. And yeah, I think if Stratos had a daughter, she looked something like this. And so I've made that his daughter. Now, another thing that I thought, I don't have a Hawkman, DC Hawkman, but I have this Spawn the Redeemer, and he looks really cool next to I mean, I feel like he could be an Avion. He could be an Avion warrior, and has the full wings, of course, going on. But I like this color scheme. It almost kind of goes along with our Stratos here. He won't stand up without a peg stand though, but he's cool. He's heavy, top heavy with those wings. Those wings are solid. But yeah, these look amazing together. Cool. And here's our Revolution He-Man. It's really the battle armor He-Man, but I have the regular harness on him, everything, but I also have a Hordak MX head sculpt. Then our new Stratos, new Eternia Buzz-Off, new Eternia Mechanic, new Eternia Fisto. Fisto's big. Fisto's big, kind of like our Stratos. But yeah, you can see how well these go together. Even though this is vintage collection, I think it fits in perfect with the new Eternia crowd. And I like it. Like it a lot. This is my Stratos. When I was taking pictures and doing reviews, I'd hardly ever put this guy in the picture. He just, I don't know. He just looks weird to me. I don't like this setup. But this dude just looks really sharp. And he just looks intimidating and imposing and well made and built and just nice. And I like this Stratos, and this is now my definitive Stratos. He's the size, he's the girth, he's the look, that classic look. I love the face sculpt. That's what we're talking about. And so there you have it, folks. Thank you so much for joining us for this Super Dave review. Thank you for coming, and I hope you'll come back and see us again. Like, subscribe if you haven't, comment if you have something to say, and we'll look to see you again next time. And here's some photos in the photo gallery. Be blessed.